Hello everyone, my name is Samantha and I'm finally back. Just right quick, I want to say I'm really sorry for being inconsistent with my uploading schedule throughout the past few months. Honestly, it's been really hard to make videos recently due to my work schedule being inconsistent as it is, but I really am trying my best to make videos and get them out to you guys. I really enjoy making the videos and interacting with you all. But anyways, today we will be going over the very first build I made after the hero rework update arrived. This build focuses on traps, primarily through the constructor's base ability. The build will also be strengthened by having Ice King in the commander slot. Right before the hero rework update released, I was actually working on and almost finished a hero subclass review on Machinist. Because before the hero rework, I believe Machinist was the way to go when it came to focusing on traps. And in the past few months, I've been getting really interested in building and experimenting with different trap tunnels. So when the hero rework update came, I immediately tried to make a build that focused around traps and the base ability. Also, I feel this build will be even more useful in the upcoming weeks, as we know that the Twine Peaks difficulty will be changed, and we're going to be getting a lot of changes in regards to Twine Peaks, even in terms of adding additional power levels to the missions past 100. And we know that thanks to Magist on Reddit with the roadmap he released. I wanted to share it with you guys as soon as I could, but like I said earlier in the video, I couldn't release this video until now. I would just like to take a quick moment to say thank you to all of you who have been patient with me and have left kind and good constructive comments. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys are just like, come on, hurry up, I want to hear about the build, so let's just get to it. So this hero loadout, like I mentioned earlier, it focuses on traps and the constructor's base ability, and for the commander slot, I decided to play as the Ice King. I felt that his perks were better suited for trap tunnels and overall playing defensively. Essentially, his standard perk is Frozen Castle, in which enemies standing on structures affected by base are snared by 15%. This is really an amazing perk, because what comes to mind when I first read his perk was what my friend Deathgrip, a great builder and maker of trap tunnels, sometimes says when he was helping me learn more about different trap tunnels, was something along the lines of, you want to keep the husks in the trap tunnels as long as possible. And of course you do, as you want as many husks dying in the trap tunnels as long as possible and as much as you can. Well, this perk certainly does that. And Ice King's commander perk is Frozen Castle Plus, in which the first half of the perk is pretty much the same as the standard perk, but what makes this even more powerful is the second half of the perk, in which enemies that damage a structure affected by base are frozen for 4 seconds. Each enemy can be frozen once every 15 seconds. So, with the combination of husks getting snared and occasionally frozen, it significantly makes your trap tunnels even more effective, as it successfully keeps the husks in the trap tunnels longer, meaning that you can kill more husks and able to output more damage for a longer period of time. The Ice King is an event hero, released during this past Frostnite event. If you do not have him, you can either get him by waiting until he is re-released, which could take a very long time, or you can use a hero voucher to recruit him. Now in this next section, we'll be going over the team perk. For this build, I use 2 different team perks depending on the situation at hand. The team perk I use often is Recycling, in which the base will generate resources based on affected structures. I use this team perk more often just because I find myself running out or running low on building materials, and sometimes I don't have the time to go farm for materials. So if you find yourself running low on building materials, I recommend using this team perk, as you get the mats back that you had invested in your trap tunnels. If you find yourself with plenty of building mats and want to focus 100% on buffing your traps as much as possible, this next team perk might be more down your alley. This team perk is Supercharged Traps, in which it increases damage of traps affected by the base by 8.5%. This basically speaks for itself, just simply an increase of damage on your traps. So if you're hurting in the building materials department, you can go with recycling. If you're fine on mats, and as I said want to focus on trap damage, I would recommend using supercharged traps. Next up we have the support team. The first hero we have in the support team is Machinist Harper. Her perk is called Tough Traps, in which it increases trap durability by 17.5%. Trap durability is always a good thing, and that way you won't have to replace your traps as often, if at all in a mission. If you don't have Machinist Harper, don't worry. She occasionally appears in the weekly item shop, and you can recruit her from the collection book as well. You can find her under Expansion People and under Scavenger Heroes. The next person I have in my support team is Mega.B.A.S.E Kyle, as his perk is Mega.B.A.S.E, in which increases base connectivity range by 1. You may think, why does a reach of 1 more tile matter? It can definitely matter, even if your trap tunnel is only a few tiles wide. If that is the case, then what you can do is just build floors in the area around the trap tunnel. I do this because remember, a part of the Ice King's commander perk is Frozen Castle Plus, in which enemies standing on structures affected by the base are snared by 15%. So with that extra tile range, you can keep enemies snared for longer, making the defense way easier. If you do not have him, you can recruit him from the collection book at any time. Now on to the next one, slot number 3. I chose Thunder Thora. That is her new name. You may have known her in the past as Machinist Thora. Anyways, she is very useful, as her perk is Electrified Floors, in which enemies standing on structures affected by the base take 12.7 base energy damage every 5 seconds. So when I said earlier that you can even just put floors around the base so that way you can maximize the use of the snaring, well, that also goes into accordance with Thora's perk. While they're being continuously snared while walking on those floors, the husks will also be taking energy damage. Pretty useful in my opinion. On the topic of Thunder Thora, she is an event hero, released sometime during the summer around the road trip event. So in order to obtain her if you don't have her, you might either have to wait until she gets re-released or might have to use one of your hero vouchers. Now on to the 4th person in the support squad. Now on this one I'm going to give you a few options. Currently I have B.A.S.E Kyle, as his perk Lofty Architecture increases building health by 28%. This is definitely helpful in missions where you have the Exploding Death Burst modifier, which will shred trap tunnels if you don't upgrade them. You can recruit B.A.S.E Kyle from the collection book at any time. Now another person I found to be quite as useful is Warden Kyle. You may have known him in the past as Blitzen B.A.S.E Kyle. Anyways, his perk is Base MD, in which allies standing on structures affected by your base heal 3.75 health every second. This perk is not trap focused, but it can help out teammates. Of course, the heal is not going to be super quick. If it was, it would have made Adrenaline Rush and Campfires obsolete. But it still can definitely be helpful, even in cases where there are exploding death bursts or you're just being bombarded by lobbers and just constantly taking damage. That little bit of health per second could definitely make a difference in the end. Also, Warden Kyle is an event hero both from the 2017 Christmas event and from the Frostnight event. If you are not able to obtain him, you will have to either wait until next Christmas or use one of your other hero vouchers. So this slot is up to preference. You can use B.A.S.E Kyle for increased building health, or you can use Warden Kyle to help heal yourself and teammates during the fight. Last but not least, we have the 5th slot in the support squad. In this one I chose Electropulse Penny, whose perk is Fully Contained. In this perk, enemies that melee attack structures affected by the base take 15 base damage. To be honest, that's not a whole lot of damage, but it still can be useful. Some damage in this case is better than no damage. So with this perk, if you have like the standard build on a Retrieve the Data missions that I have on screen right now, husks that attack the slant will get damaged. If you want Electropulse Penny and currently do not have her, good news, you can recruit her from the collection book at any time. The final thing I will cover for this hero loadout is the gadgets. I personally use the stationary hover turret and adrenaline rush as my gadgets. But if you want a gadget that helps out your trap build, I would switch out adrenaline rush for slow field, and plop your slow field in your trap tunnels to keep the husks in there longer. Also, if you have base MD and possibly a few campfires on hand, you don't need adrenaline rush as much as before. In terms of weapon loadouts to use with this Ice King loadout, well, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, as this hero loadout focuses on traps and the base ability as opposed to focusing on a certain type of weapon. Personally, I just usually run AR loadouts, with stuff like swans and hemlocks and the like. So that way I can shoot things from a distance, but again, when it comes down to it, with weapons, personal preference. So there you have it, the Ice King, trap, and base focused hero loadout. I personally have been enjoying this loadout ever since the hero rework came out, and I think it will become even more useful when Twine Peaks gets its difficulty changed and we get, the mission level cap will not be at 100 anymore, it'll go beyond that. So we're gonna see, hopefully, more challenging content, and I definitely see this hero loadout being pretty helpful. So let me know what you guys think about the loadout. If you guys like it, or if you're planning to tweak it a little bit, just let me know down below. I just want to say thanks again for all the support, and the patience, of course. It's good to be finally back. I hope to see you all soon.